Hi, my name is Martin. I'm a specialist technical coach and mentor for open formula drivers. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know with some insights from sprint race and main qualifying Saturday in Austin. If you're interested in what my thoughts are, definitely keep watching. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're going well. A few more insights in this video I'm hoping to share with you. So hopefully you're going to get a little bit more value from it. We're going to talk about the sprint race, and I'll talk about Quali. I saw some interesting stuff in Quali. So I'll talk you guys through it. Turn one in the sprint race, obviously the biggest talking point, both McLaren drivers went out. It was ironic, I think, just to see both the McLarens on the side of the road after the week they've had in Singapore leading up to it and everything. I think Max has got like a decent chance now at this championship. They've sold for the slow speed understeer in the Red Bull, which is always Max's Achilles heel. I'm going to talk to it in qualifying because it's still there a little bit, and Max's technique's never helpful as well in some long corners. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, have a look at this. I spoke yesterday about in the live stream, about space and grip being what you want to look for in turn one. Have a look at this picture. I'm not sure if any of you guys saw it. So what you'll notice is all the carnage here on the right. Yes, they all got squeezed. Look, I think it's pretty straightforward. It wasn't any of the McLaren's fault. I think Hulkenberg actually didn't meet his apex, didn't get the rotation done, didn't get the car stopped quick enough. He also had Alonso on his inside, but I think Fernando would have found a way to avoid that one. So I'm apportioning most of the blame here on Hulkenberg. That's a characteristic of these cars, guys. They just understeer in the front end because they're big, heavy dinosaurs. But the reason I got this shot is have a look at these two cars here. This is Carlos Sainz and this is George Russell. And what they did, both of them made a call very quickly to say, I'm going for the outside. And when all this rubbish happened here, they both went off track and just wrapped up the whole pack. Like Carlos has found significant positions in this. I don't know where he qualified, but he's gone from, he's found a lot of places. George as well. So the space was on the outside and they went off track, but they can cover it under the turn one, rubbish everywhere, cars everywhere are just going to sweep around. So I thought that was a funny shot. That's a cool shot. You see Alonso, you see Hulkenberg, you see Piastri in the air. And then you see these two guys, Carlos and George, front of shot in the foreground. Yeah, just milking the whole situation. Good on them. Why not? Fair play. Needed to talk to you guys about the SC restart, the safety car restart as well. Okay, directionally correct from Max, but this year I just feel like Max hasn't been dotting his I's and crossing his T's on the restart. Now, before I get into it, a lot of you people are going to be like, hang on, what are you talking about? It was a mad restart from Max. He pulled away from George and he kept the lead and there was nothing to see here. And like, on the surface level, yes, but I want to try to show you guys what a good restart would actually look like and why this was not a good restart. So just bear with me, I'll explain it to you. Yes, Max went out of turn 15, which I think was directionally correct. I'll jump over to the whiteboard and we'll talk through it together. I'll remove some of this from yesterday. So Max went out of turn 15, so he was going slow here, waiting for the safety car to come in. And then, I think it was a good idea. We spoke about that in the live stream because we said, yeah, maybe here because you can aero wash, and it's the slowest corner out of all of these. So we pretty much said 15 or 20. 20 being, there's nothing wrong with 20, by the way. You get the steering wheel straight earlier. But the idea is that if this is Max here and this will be George here, the idea is that Max comes through and he's the first one to get the steering wheel straight and you accelerate from that point. And bang, you just send it onto the pit straight like that. Same principle that Max needed to apply in 15, but he didn't. So he came through 15 and then he was through and then he was just waiting here for a little bit. And then George was here, both of them with the steering wheel straight. And then Max says, I'll go. And I just feel like that's a missed opportunity because if Max had have done like what we said, start to come through and then with the steering wheel straight, run the car through the corner, he would have pulled even more of a margin. He might not have been under attack a few laps later into turn 12. Do you know what I mean? Like it really is the difference between profit and loss. It didn't turn out as such in the sprint race, but like for another driver that was, let's say, more onto it and, if this was a different set of circumstances and the cars can follow, he would have been under attack down the pit straight as well because it was just too predictable and too easy to react to. And with what I'm saying in the green line, to run it through 15, There's nothing George can do. He's still turning through 15. You can't get the steering wheel straight. George actually cannot go and follow Max. So it's much more powerful. So yes, directionally correct. 15 was a choice, was an option. I don't think the execution was very good. So like I say, maybe that contributed to George having some sort of attack on Max down into turn 12. Let's have a look at it, because I think Max wasn't meeting his apex very well in the hairpin prior, which is turn 11. I'll show you guys now. So this was a lap before, or 2 laps before the actual attack from George. I didn't see whether or not Max met with the apex of this turn 11 hairpin on the actual lap that George attacked. But yet and still, this is Max going around the hairpin and straight away George actually meeting his apex. That's very helpful. Again, it's all about getting steering wheel straight and getting on throttle earlier. George can do that from this position and follow Max and attack Max. Someone in the comments yesterday said, because I was analyzing Oscar Piastri's lap, and I was saying he's missed all his hairpin apexes. And then they said, well, Max missed all his hairpin apexes. And I'm like, but that doesn't make it correct. That just means Max made up for it in S's and braking into the final corner and other places to cover up what is understeer in the Red Bull in the slow speed hairpins. It doesn't mean it's correct just because Max missed his turn 1 apex and missed his turn 11 apex. And now that you can see with George, there's a direct contrast here. Someone who didn't meet the apex was someone who did, and then who's under attack. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I say all of that to say that the attack that happened down into turn 12 from George was, I think, as a result of the SC restart not being 100% correct, and then Max not like meeting his apexes in the hairpin as well. Now the dive into turn 12, it was worth it, I guess. Like from George's point of view, like what else are you going to do? Like it's just, yeah, he had a chance, went for a dive, almost pulled it up, went off the track. It was all fair. A clumsy move towards the end of the sprint, Lance Stroll on the inside of turn 1 with Esteban Ocon. I think, like, given this track has significant track width, everything we're seeing at the moment, whether it's the turn 1 accident and all the spots that those 2 guys gained, Carlos and George, whether it's this hairpin issue that we saw, and with Ocon and Stroll, it's all as a result of having a significant track width. I think that's really important in track design, and we don't have many like that. Like I can think of a lot of skinny tracks. I can think of a lot of Imola's, Monaco's, Canada's, Melbourne's very skinny. Like there's heaps of skinny tracks, and it doesn't offer you options for line. And so you don't get variation in technique or different multiple lines being acceptable in a way. And so this turn 1 thing, like Lance there was a big gap up the inside. He went into it. It was 100% Lance's fault, locked up and whatever. But like it shows you like that you get this sort of thing. If they were all follow the leader, around we go, so I don't know. I just miss some of those tracks. Like Hockenheim was nice and wide. The new one, at least anyway. Malaysia was a very wide F1 circuit. Turkey, I think as well, was not too bad. So it's like, I think we've gone away from that with some of the new tracks, and I'm saying it's a positive to see that. Anyway, it was Stroll's crash there when he crashed into Ocon at turn 100%. It was a very clumsy crash. All right, let's talk about qualifying together. Isaac Hadjar's crash in the S's. I want to say it was turn 6-ish or maybe 4. One of those right-handers where the wind was coming, I think it was coming from the south and southeast again. Yeah, just on board with Hadjar. I don't blame him. He didn't do much wrong. Like the car just took a bump and swapped ends so quickly. Like, there's no way he could have responded to that or predicted it either. So that's unfortunate. If anyone thinks he did something wrong, let me know. I didn't think he did too much wrong there. Maybe wind, potentially. Like I said, Mosquito is coming from southeast today. So yeah, it's potentially that. And that might be a reason a lot of the drivers are pushing on into the hairpin as well. I'm looking at the track map, so I'll show you guys. If wind is coming from south or southeast, that'll give you problems in these corners here. And yeah, maybe it's pushing on. If it's coming from south, maybe it's pushing you on in the hairpin as well. But I think it's a combination of things into the hairpin. Now, we spoke about it with Oscar Piastri as well. Even in Q1, he totally missed his hairpin. Lando had oversteer through this section, the green section, 7, 8, 9. Antonelli had some oversteer in that section as well. So there were a lot of errors from the McLaren. It just didn't look as hooked up as what it was yesterday, for example. So yeah, it's weird. Like this is, if you had to say, a track where mad downforce, the McLaren would be good. You would think here, but anyway, Max is doing max things and finding lap time where they're not. I wanted to talk to you guys about turn 15 and spend a lot of time or a bit of time on it because significant track width, slow speed, long corner, and there's a direction change, a hand switch that has to happen here. So I'll draw it out for you guys. All right, so this is 15 over here. Now, if you talk about Max for a second, Max, he's, even if the track is so wide, he's edge to edge driver. And I'd just love to know how powerful Max could be if he just learned about the tight line and tried it. And again, a lot of you guys are going to lose your mind because you think Max is perfect, but he's not. He's very good. But like, this is what Max will do, right? He'll come through here. And the thing is, there's a hand switch that has to happen here. You go from turning right into turning left. And it's a significant track width across here. And it's a very slow speed. I think it's, what is it on the map there? 85? Yeah, 85 kilometers. So it's a very slow speed direction change. Now, what Max will do is he always likes to come and find the edge, the edge of the racetrack from which to turn in from. Because in his mind, well, I can carry the most speed into the corner from that position. That's true to an extent, but if the car is not capable, then you're not carrying anything into there. Because when you go to turn in and cover that significant track width and change direction, the car, like the front tires will just say, I'm not coming in, and they won't come in. And you end up basically just missing your apex and going around like that. You miss your mark. And so it does a lot of damage to the front tires as well. Really interesting, guys. Guess who I saw driving a tight line into here? Franco Colapinto. You guys saw on the live stream. Like, this is what surprises me about Franco. Like, this is so advanced to be able to know stuff like this. And you're at a level of knowledge and feel and intuition above normal, because normal is use all of the track, sweep in from the edge, carry speed through the corner, and don't think about too much of it. Anyway, Franco's tight line, exactly at the point where the direction change happens, Franco just kind of straightens the steering wheel and goes in. So the advantage of it is the steering wheel is straighter on turn in. You haven't got the car pointing away from the corner. You save all of this extra meters here as well. So you're driving a shorter distance around the lap. But I think one of the most powerful things is that, yeah, the steering wheel is straight for a bit. And then when you turn in, you get compliant front end. And so that's what I saw Franco doing. So we can take a look at it together. Let's have a look. So this was, like I say, Q1. This is Franco Colapinto. Here we go. So you notice he doesn't find that edge of the track. A couple of insights for you. It all happens so quick. So he's turning right and you got to go to turning left. And there's a switch that has to happen across a decent track width at slow speed. So into a long corner. So there's definitely a case for the tight line. If you've been following the channel, you know all about it. But he's turning right here and you got to get turning left. And it's all about, for me, how gently you can just come back and keep steering center, resettle the car, rebalance the platform, get the car square, and then turn. I always talk about, don't tell the car go that way and then go that way. Tell the car go that way, start to come with me this way, and now come with me this way. It's a bit more of a romantic style of driving. So turning right, Franco gets the wheel straight, and that switch, even though it happened quick in slow-mo, he hasn't found this edge of the racetrack. So he's already initiating the turning. So the car's already like preloaded into the corner. So what happens? Guess what? He turns in. There's so much front grip here, excess of front grip. He has to open his hands a little bit there and then go again. Like it gives you so much more front grip. Like you'll be shocked at how much better. Now have a look at Max. What you'll find is he tries to find that far right-hand piece of the track and then adds the steering slowly, but he adds it later. Like Franco's already starting to turn where Max is. See, Max is very gentle here where he started to turn, and he's trying to find, the reason it's gentle is because he wants to come out here as wide as possible. Look at his right front right up against the road here. It's not what we saw with Franco. And then brakes, turns, adds steering, and the fronts are like saying, they're dying at this point, right? It's okay in quali, light cars, you get away with it, more downforce. He's trying to use the downforce, but it's bleeding off and he's bleeding in. And if I slow it down, you'll notice he just misses his apex by 20 or 30 centimeters as well. So like in qualifying, you won't see the true extent of that damage, but in the race, lap on lap on lap, your front tires will be absolutely shot. And so Franco's line, which is like, oh, I've got more front grip than I need. I open the steering and go again. It's like, you're going to protect your front tires really well. So I thought I'd call that out. Like it's nothing new for both of them. Like we've seen it before. I'll show you guys, like you guys would have seen the picture already from last year, which is this one. So Franco, like, this is the same track, turn 7 and 8 and 9 complex. I think it's into 7 or 8, into 8 maybe. But this is, again, Lando using all of the track, Franco leaving so much room. Look at the less steering lock that he has to put in across here. So like when I see stuff like this from Franco, I'm like, the guy's got talent which we can work with. I just feel like he's not in the right hands. Team, coaches, mentors, focus. I just feel like all of that's missing. But like, yeah, it's a shame because Franco, like, it's very natural for Franco to not use all of the track and dial that back and drive tight lines in long corners. Like it's, yeah, there's a lot of lap time in it. Now let's have a look at the first runs on telemetry. I'll show you guys like if it's worth any lap time. We'll jump over to the telemetry now. So this was the first runs where I saw Franco driving that tight line, and I didn't see Gasly's laps. Presumably not though, because this is something so rare. Have a look at the track dominance. Do you see just at 15, it flashes white there in Colapinto's favor? And you might look at this and go, well, it's all blue. It's all in Gasly's favor. But have a look at this. Have a look at the delta here. Before they go into that corner, Colapinto's 5.4 tenths down, and they come out of that corner 3.5. He's 3.5. So it's worth a tenth and a half. Just that little white speck on the track dominance here is worth 1.5 tenths. I mean, that's the biggest delta drop. That's the biggest place that Franco found lap time on Pierre, was there. So it's not worth nothing. Like it's, yeah, I mean, you guys know, you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know about this. If I just zoom in on that sequence, yeah, you'll notice even Pierre's got a higher minimum speed, doing the whole max thing, higher minimum speed, but the front tires cry over the distance and the load you put them through. Franco's taken a shortcut essentially, and he gets out of the throttle and starts to turn in earlier into the corner. It's cool, like it's really cool. And like I said before, I'd be curious to see how much more powerful of a driver Max can be if he was a chameleon, more of a chameleon than he already is, and could say, okay, in quali I'm going to do this, and in the race I'm going to do this, and it change between short corners and tight lines. It would be phenomenal because you'd hold on to all of his other brilliance in S's and stuff like that. Be mad. So just more quali chat. The Ferraris on their first run, a few mistakes. Leclerc in the final corners was particularly weird. Like, I'm not sure if it was overheating of the rear tires or he just buried the throttle too much, but it was weird. Like, it was the Ferraris just thought, no, great shit car. Honestly, I feel sorry for the drivers because both of them are really good around here. Hamilton and Leclerc are good drivers around here. So I think Hamilton locked up at turn 1 and Leclerc had that strange spin in the last corner of turn 20. And Verstappen didn't make it through on his final run. That's strange as well. He was letting Leclerc through for Leclerc's lap, and I think he lost a few seconds in doing so. But that's strange because GP is normally like Giampiero Lambese, his race engineer, is normally like on top of that really well. So that's strange, but it shows his lap was good enough. Even when Max gives you a chance, like Lando gives him a chance at like, here's your chance, better track conditions, I'm not going to get my final run. And it's like, still doesn't get it done. So good job to Max, obviously amazing lap, but we'll see. We're going to see his race pace. Now, I spoke about this last year and I was like, Lando he didn't work out the tight line in turns 7 and 8. The picture that I showed you before with Lando and Franco. Lando needs to drive more like Franco. He needs to offset his line, get out of dirty air, drive tight lines, look after front tires. DRS is very powerful. There's no reason why Lando can't win this race tomorrow. So he should, right? Like if you make one mistake, like 2024, and you didn't quite work it out and learn it, that's fine. Don't make the same mistake twice. You're going to have to offset your line and get out of dirty air in the S's and drive some tight lines. So my particular lens is not so much on 15, but if you do want to look after your right front, sure, 15's a place, but my lens is over here. You got to offset your line into turn 8 and drive a tight line. Exactly what we saw the image with Franco and Lando before. Get underneath the rear wing. Max will slipstream you down here. Bang. You got the green light, DRS. It'll be an easy pass into turn 12. But you need to do this. You need to do this. This is key for Lando tomorrow. So I'll be looking out for that as well. Now, Oscar Piastri's struggles into the hairpin continued. I spoke about it yesterday and I was like, it's the hairpin, it's the slow speed, it's the rotation. He's not pulling back with the gears properly. He's combining a lot on the entry, and all in all, he's not getting into his corners. He didn't see the video, obviously. I did my best. I think it was spot on. Have a look at this. This is Oscar in Q3. Like, not good. Even Martin Brundle in commentary was like, I don't know if he meant to do that line, but to me it looks terrible. And I agree. I concur with Brundle. That looks rubbish. And it's not so much like that. The point I'm making to you is it's not that it's just rubbish. It's we saw this yesterday and he hasn't solved for it. That's a bigger problem. If you can't see things and solve for them, how are you ever going to move forward? So you need to be like, what's going on? What's the problem? What's the solution? Surely at this point. So this was in Q3, but he also didn't meet his apexes in Q1. Oscar Piastri, the championship leader, will start P6 tomorrow. Not a good place to start, and this is a big opportunity for both the guys on the front row, Lando and Max, to try to take some points out of Oscar's championship tomorrow. Yeah, definitely that can happen. So 2 other things I wanted to talk to you guys about heading into tomorrow. The wind is changing direction. Let's draw it out and see what sort of impact that will have. So apparently it's stronger and it's coming from the northeast that way. All right, so breaking into the hairpin finally. Maybe Oscar can meet some hairpins. That's good there. It's going to be big downforce into the S's, so that's helpful as well. Maybe struggle because you got the crosswind turning into turn 1, but somehow I don't think it'll be that significant. And it'll help you turn into 15. This is something that can help Max into 15. Which is a shame because I want to see Max like work this out. But basically what I'm saying is that northeast wind is going to help you rotate the car into 15. So it's a very favorable wind direction. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's totally different to what we've had so far this weekend, which is wind coming from the south or southeast. So this wind coming from the northeast is going to help the hairpin for Max and Oscar, and is going to help anyone struggling with rotation into 15 as well. In terms of the start, again, guys, I'll just draw, this is the start over here. Max is over here. Lando's over here. Yeah, I'm still looking for defensive posture. I still think if you can get to the inside, you can control and manage the corner a lot better. So I don't think Max will have a problem because it is cleaner over here. But then we saw that last year as well, didn't we? So let's wait and see. But you guys know I've been following the channel for a while. My philosophy is always that the guy shoots to the inside, presets his car in the box, angles the car and gets to the inside as quickly as possible. That's where you can control the whole situation from. And it means you don't have to put any steering angle in with the preset. You just go straight and then you come straight like that. So in the first phase, you don't need to turn over and try to cover like really clumsy rookie. So yeah, I'll be looking to see that. Now, it's a big track width that Max has got to cover. So I wouldn't put a big preset, but there would be some sort of preset that I'd be recommending as well. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow as well. I hope you enjoyed my insights from this video. Drop a comment just before you go, please. A thought, a question, something you enjoyed or learnt, or anything you wanted clarified. And I'll see you guys after the race tomorrow. Cheers.